I have been I have been practicing CA for more than 20 years. And God has blessed me with more than what I require. But still, my mind was not calm. Kept on looking for some improvement or a change. At that point in time, I have been introduced to this DMT program by my husband. DMT program has got a wide coverage of topics, right from preparing your proposal till you receive your check. It not only addresses all the needs of the trainers, but also addresses many issues of an individual, both at the personal and professional level. The learning from the DMT instantly can be used and it works very well. DMT has changed my thinking pattern. There is a lot of clarity in my thinking after I joining this program. DMT has enhanced my decision making skills. I was amazed and thrilled to listen to some of the topics like mental ease, communication, what works and what does not work, nudge theory, how it has got an impact on the behavior of the persons. More than the topics, the way in which Arun sir introduces such a topic and elucidates create a lot of impact on the participants. The structure of the program is excellent. Both Arun sir and Vaidhi sir tirelessly working with all the trainees throughout the learning period 24/7. And they ensure that all the participant gets the best out of this program. They neither see their watch nor their pocket. Rather, I find them seeing from their heart for understanding your level of understanding as you would be the ambassador displaying of standing testimonials for them. Arun sir and Vaidhi sir are not a mere teachers. They are real gurus. Thank you, Arun sir and Vaidhi sir, for such an excellent support and guidance given to us. And I thank all my batchmates for encouraging me and supporting me. And my special thanks to my group mates headed by the great Nitika, very dedicated person, and all my group members. And I thank my family members, especially my husband, for supporting me both in the office and the home front. Finally, I thank God for introducing DMT to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajalakshmi ji, for sharing your experience about the DMT program. Now, our speaker for this evening is a seasoned business strategist and organizational development consultant. She has over 20 years of experience in managing the operations of manufacturing in the MSME sector as a CEO. She established 3 manufacturing units for production. She implemented systems and processes for a team of over 550 persons. She developed sales and marketing strategy with aggressive market expansion for export to 52 countries, including strategic partnerships with German, American, and Japanese enterprises. Along the journey, she realized that she could use her vast experience and skills to mentor the entrepreneurs and MSME business owners for designing their growth and scale-up strategies through transformational organizational development projects. Last but not least, she is a member of IPMMA, Indian Pharma Machinery Manufacturers Association, ISPE, International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineers, ISTD, the Indian Society of Training and Development, XLRI alumni, and KJ Somaya Institute of Management Studies alumni. She is looking forward to partnering with MSME business owners to transform their business. Let us welcome with applause our today's specialist speaker, Ms. Puja Bakshi, to introduce on the aspects about achieving goals. Achieving goals, Ms. Puja Bakshi.
It was the 4th of May, 1984, when the boy entered the house and saw a new cricket bat lying in front of him. Not understanding, he just picks it up, looks at his father with a question in his eyes. It's for you, son. The boy rushes out with tears in his eyes and hits the very first ball with that bat that goes for a sixer. 15 years down the line, the entire stadium stands up to cheer Sachin as he remembers that day on the 14th of May, 1984, because it was then when the seed of a great batsman, Sachin Tendulkar, was sown. How ironical that the bat was there, which made him the world's greatest batsman, but his father was no more. Sachin did not know what to do as the world was cheering for him for his century, but he was mourning for his father. Friends, achieving one's goal is such a funny thing. If a gift of a bat was what set Sachin on his journey, what is your journey? How do you think you can achieve your goal? On that note, let's start today's session by going into a breakout room and answering this question. How do you think you can achieve your goal? So Rajendra ji, if you can help me with the breakout rooms. So we'll go into this breakout room and come back after 20 minutes after discussing about how do you think you can achieve your goals.
There are 44 participants. Should I create 5 breakout rooms?
Yes, Arunji, thank you so much.
The breakout rooms have been created. It has been opened. I request the participants to kindly move towards the breakout room. If you can unshare the screen, I think we will be able to monitor the movement.
Arun sir, I got logged out of the rooms. If I can enter the room.
Everyone is back, it looks like. Yeah.
Yes. We came more than that.
Okay, so let's see if all the rooms are back now. And let's hear it. So are all the rooms back? Yes, we are 51 people back in the room. So let's start with the room number 5. So please share what was your experience and what have you brought for the entire group here?
Anilji, it is our group.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So all, allied people. So we have, all participatory. Everybody contributed in our group. And one moment, everybody. Narinder sir, Ashu ma'am, Rehan, all people are, So can I share the screen, please? Yes. So number 1, we have smart goals. Goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and within time, they should be able to achieve in time. Then we should have vision, mission, and objective. Very clear, we should have vision, mission, and objectives. Our most important thing, this point told by Ashu. So mindset and vision, mission also told by Ashu. Now, our mindset, it should be positive. We should be able to, when we start to achieve our goal, our mindset should be very positive. Then we should self-believe in ourselves that we can do it. I can do it. Then, align activities with our goals. Whatever we do it, whatever activity we are doing, it should be aligned with our goals. I must be focused. I should not be, looking here and there, distracting. No, avoid distracting, totally focus. I should have passion, hunger, and discipline to achieve our goals. Then we should be persistent. That also Ashu told. Never give up. You already know, this Hitler and Churchill, there was a dispute between them, and Hitler used to say "we for victory," and Churchill used to say "I'll penetrate through your victory." And the 5 words he gave Churchill: never, never, never give up. That is the persistence. Unlearn and learn. So we should try to unlearn and relearn, new upskill ourselves. So time management should be very important thing. Time management, in that prioritizing things is very, very important. And try to avoid, decluttering. So avoid cluttering. So declutter all unavoidable things. And that is same thing. Upskilling and learning should continue. Set your deadlines. Do your monitoring on daily basis. Walk through, inspect, verify, review, and validate the activities every day. And these are the processes. Keeping some mentor. You must have somebody, when somebody is at Arunji always says, when somebody is at a higher level, he always look beyond what you can see. He can guide you. You can set monitoring. So to-do list always prepare. Every day you prepare to-do list and try to track it in the evening. What are the things and why they are not achieved? Next day, go fresh and try to plug those gaps. If you swept in peace, that is hardworking, you will not bleed in war. Plan properly. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So prioritize IOL, then working hard. Thank you so much. These are the couple of things. Everybody contributed in our group. Thank you so much. My group number 5.
Thank you, Anilji, for representing group number 5. And we have covered a lot of ground here, from goals to I can do it, and 2-3 great quotations you have talked. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So very interesting. So let's see what group number 4 has come up with. Please, let's move to room number 4.
Yeah, I will share on behalf of room number 4, Rajalakshmi. Yeah, we had a lengthy discussion. All the participants have participated and added their inputs. And the way to achieve our goals, first of all, we thought that to achieve the goal, there must be some need or requirement should be there at the base level. That need to be identified, and the goal need to be clearly been spelled out. So unless the goal is not very clear, achieving the goal become a very, very difficult path. Then there must be a discipline or commitment or determination from a person is required to achieve the goal. And one must do a SWOT analysis, find out their strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat, and try to improve from their weakness and try to work more on their strength points so that achieving goal become very easy. Then consistent practice is required and should not lose their focus. Whatever may be the difficulty they are facing, try to be consistent with their practice. And also some of the principles they can follow, like a PDCA or a Kaizen principles, so that they will be more disciplined to achieve their goals. And come out of a comfort zone and face your challenges so that you can move towards achieving your goal. And further, before we start the journey, one must also find out what are all the complexities are there in achieving the goal, and how long it will take, what are the steps required to achieve the goal, and what is the help required. These analysis one must do it so that yeah, they can plan well before they start the journey of achieving their goal. And if possible, they can break their goal into a smaller task so that it become easy, step by step they can achieve, and then also finally they can move to a bigger achieve their bigger goals. And they must have the guts to say no to all the distractions or conflicting opinion which comes in the way. So, and they have to be true to themselves, to their own opinion, so that it become very easy for them to move towards achieving their goals. And finally, the one must be able to mobilize the resources required for timely completion of goals, so which is the essential part. So these are the points we have discussed in our group, and thanks. If anything is missed out, others can just add whatever points. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Excellent, Rajalakshmi ma'am. I think your group deserves a round of applause. Very well put together, and some very great points that we have here that will take us in a journey to achieve goals. Great. Room number 3.
Mr. Vinit Kumar, could you please summarize from our group?
I have already discussed all the point. You because you have a you please describe. If there's anything here, I will get with you to support you. Okay. You are insightful person.
Thank you. I will give a gist. Actually, we began with the usual definition of SMART goals, and then Mr. Suresh, he added that unless there is a strong purpose behind any goal, it's not going to fly. We are not going to have a motivation to achieve the goal. But then Vinitji, actually, he gave us a new acronym, a new short form called RAINBOW. So it was new to us. That's why we allowed him to explain that concept. So it goes like this, that you should have a reason to achieve a certain goal. Then there should be an assessment of that particular A for assessment for that goal. Then I for identity. and after that there has to be enough nurturing so that the goal could be achieved. The next point is basically B for branding, where you make it public that what you want to achieve, with all the care taken of how to achieve it through nurturing. After branding, there is an opportunity, means how to actually reach out to the right people to achieve our goal. And finally, there is a wisdom associated, W for wisdom. So, so basically, this comes as a very important aspect on how to achieve the goal. Viniji, if you want to explain any concept out of these at a little elaborately, it will be very much.
Yeah. As far as assessment point of view, I want to add the assessment of the available resources. Resources in terms of capital resources, human resources, machinery resources, and manpower and talent resources also. This is reason, assessment, and then identify where what you stand for, what purpose you are going to solve in the market. Okay.
Okay, got it.
What purpose, whether your product and the services, you have to find through the marketing research what really are your, why people buy from you, any services in or any product, and then you have to communicate the message to the society. Communication is, I align the communication part is called branding. Communication is the something and opportunities. You find the opportunity where you want to position yourself. There is the cutthroat competition in the market. You have to position your brand, position yourself on the basis of your SWOT analysis, which is earlier discussed by some other room number. SWOT, where is the strength, where your weakness and opportunity and the threat. And that is also help you to identify the opportunities to positioning yourself in the specific market segments, a specific target audience. And then, because being an entrepreneur, what I believe, we are always start with the service oriented mindset, with the clarity of the vision, mission, and the mission and vision statement, and start with the service. And then when you are genuinely by yourself, then profit and all that will follow you. That is called wisdom. This is my opinion, ma'am. Thank you.
Room number 2, that was a very, I would say, brought color to the evening, the rainbow colors of how we can achieve goals. So a lot of points there too. Let's move to room number 2 now.
Room number 2, we all group members have decided on behalf of that. I think that to achieve your goal, we first and most required belief in yourself. Then I can achieve or not achieve. If one has belief I can achieve, then no one can stop him. The first thing, and then determine the goal. All these things they already determine the goal, clarity of the goal, and tremendous efforts required for that strategy for that, and define your goal, define, and then long-term goal, short-term goal, how to achieve with timelining, and to keep that in announced to public so that he may keep ready himself, and write down and keep it in your bedroom or drawing room, so that every moment he may remind himself to get that. And then the strong conviction has to be there. And with the financial planning, according to financial planning, we how to in achievement to goal, what are the requirements of the finance portion, that it can be also. And that smart definition has already been submit a specific, measurable, and achievable, relevant timeline. These we all have, our group members have discussed and submitted to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mathurji. So we had these inputs from room number 2, and now finally room number 1.
Lakshmi.
Shilpa or Nisrin can take it up, or anybody else from the group.
I'll do it. So we discussed about achieving our goals. So the first thing that we identified was the what. What is the goal? What is the type of goal? Are you setting a long-term goal, short-term goal? It is something related to your professional, like we talk about wheel of life. So what is the goal, and in priority, which goal you need to set first? So that comes. Number 2 is you have to know your why. The why has to be the most important thing when we talk about goals, because that is the main agent of motivation. If you lose your why on the way, probably achieving of goals is futile. So the motivation factor is you need to hold strong your why. Then we come to when. So it is how much and by when. You need to set a deadline. You need to give it a date and time, or a date and what you want to achieve, because if there is no date, your goal is just a wish. So we don't want a wish, we want a goal. So your goal needs to have the time, it needs to be time bound, and then only it deserves to be a goal. Then you need to be aware. Now, awareness about your own self is also very important, which comes through SWOT analysis. And as an NLP trainer, we also look on the neurological levels of a person, wherein the environment, the identity, behavior, their skills and capabilities comes into consideration, and they can play on that and then set goals which suit their personality the most. Then how? So how are you going to do it? You need to chunk down your goals. They need not only be result goals, they can be process goals. You need to have your weekly list, monthly to-do lists, or whatever works for you. You can opt for a journal, you can opt for a habit tracker, whatever. However, there are many tools available in the market now, so you can see what suits you the best, and you can come up with that. And the last but not the least is reviewing the goals. Reviewing the goals is very important, because if you don't know where you are heading towards or what you've achieved, you won't be able to make a difference. So in reviewing your goals, you need to calibrate with your goals. You need to know the flexibility there. It's human, like you cannot just go in one line. You need to set goals which are a little flexible, so that on the way, if you have a dip or there are certain deviations that you have to pass through, so it's easy for you to make those deviations, and the buffers can help you in that case. And then you recalibrate the goals, like you can have contingency plans, and you can have certain areas where you can feel if this is not achieved, then what next, or how are we going to proceed further. So this is what our group wanted to display.
Excellent, rule number 1. Again, a very good effort and a stupendous effort here to put all the thoughts together, varied and in such a structured form. So thank you so much, all the groups. So let's go ahead and see, how do we achieve our goals? A journey of setting goals starts with clarity on what you want to achieve. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first and a single step. And more importantly, why you want it. It remains a guiding light and is beyond debate or interpretations, as all the groups today have said. It is the clarity of your goals. Some of the questions that can be answered to get that clarity on your goal is, what do I want to achieve? Why do I want to achieve this particular goal? Is this goal a specific goal? I'm on a diet plan these days to reduce my weight. So I'm looking at targeting to lose 15 kgs in the next 3 months before I celebrate my mother's birthday. So these are specific goals. Is the goal focused on actions which will help me move towards a positive outcome? For example, like passing an exam, or is the goal focused to take care of something that I don't want to happen, like failing in an exam? So that's extremely important, that kind of clarity. What is the purpose? Is it about developing some attribute, some skill? Is it about getting some kind of a knowledge? Or is it like a performance goal, like the cricketers, or if you're a basketball player, or if you're like Sachin Tendulkar? So is it about a performance goal where you would like to showcase your ability, or you seek some kind of a positive evaluation from your peers? Another question for clarity that will be great is, what is the duration of involvement of the goal? Is it some kind of end state goal? That means you only do it once. For example, if I'm looking at publishing an article, so I have an end goal of publishing an article. Or is it a process goal? Like how we were talking about Kaizen in our other program, am I looking at a particular process goal, then it happens again and again. For example, my own goal, staying healthy, staying fit. So what kind of a end state? Is it an end state goal, or is it a process goal? So these kind of questions give us a clarity on the goal, and which is the first step to achieving goals. Once you're clear what is your goal, what is important is to look at the complexities involved in it. So you look at the goal from various aspects, and then you identify what is that, what are the various aspects that you need to cover? What are the internal and external complexities? When I was looking at expanding my business, some of the complexities that all of us, I'm sure most of you will be able to relate to it. What is the market situation? Who is the competition? What are the kind of economic policies the government has? If I plan to export, what is the kind of technology? What is the kind of risk associated with it? Who are my clients? Who is competition? Is that going to have a complex effect on the goal I have set to export my equipment? What is the availability and access to resources? Is it going to become difficult in the coming times for me to have those access? Is it going to be easy? So summing it up, whether I want to do yoga, I want to join Tasneem ma'am's class and I learn about yoga, I need to know about availability of the time. Is she doing those classes when I don't have my office hours? So all complexities, whether these are those short-term process-oriented goals, end goals, every kind of goal requires to look at the complexity of the goal. And what happens? Once you know the complexity, then you start to focus on what is the capability required to address this complexity. As many of you, 2 or 3 groups have mentioned 2, 3 very good points about this. How do you build your capability is around the complexity that you want to address for achieving your goals. What are the skills that you may require to achieve those goals? What is the knowledge that you may need? You may require some additional resources. I was looking at expanding my organization, and one of the things that you look for was to get the kind of local talent or look for outside talent, make housing arrangements for them. So did I have the capability, or we had to look at some leased accommodations outside for them? So that is the kind of capability, whether you have it with you, or you will need to develop it. It could be skills, it could be knowledge, it could be competencies. And most of the things that you covered fall under these, or these could be other resources that you may require for it. And the most important question, this is the capability I need, this is the capability I have. How will I fulfill this capability gap? How do I take care of it? Do I do it internally? Do I develop? Or I look at outside sources for capability? So once you're clear how you want to base the capability that will take care of the complexity to achieve your goals, it brings us to the key element that lots of us talked about today in the breakout rooms. And that key element is the element of commitment. What is our commitment to build this capability? And many of us said when we pick up things that we need to do, we need to commit either with our time, with our energy, or our money. If I join a yoga class, I need to give my time, of course, pay the fees, and make the efforts to do yoga. In the same way, when I was looking at expanding my business, I need to give the time, energy, and investments into it. So what is the level of commitment I have? One, how much will I commit to taking care of these, to build these capabilities, is the second question that I need to address. So once we are clear about the commitment, what is the level that we are committed to invest in it? What are we willing to invest in times of time, money, energy? What are we willing to put at stake for it? For example, right now we are doing our DMT training programs. So I am willing to sacrifice some social obligations that I have in the evening, but make sure that I'm on the platform. So these are the kind of investments and commitments that you're willing to put at stake for. In order to build capability, a lot of effort is required. And that is where it comes in. So once we are clear that this is what we need to do to achieve my goal, and we are committed to it, we can move to the next level. And the next level, as most of us have said, once the commitment is in place, then the next level that we move is the time for action. And when we look at action, we look at a very holistic view of action. We set in a feedback mechanism in this entire system. In order to ensure that the actions set in motion are moving towards achieving the goal, an effective feedback mechanism is required. It makes it important for us that this mechanism makes sure that we are moving towards achieving our goals. And this feedback mechanism, like some of you mentioned, it could be any of the mechanisms that work for you. It should have a scheduling system in it, a review, and a feedback mechanism. It helps to prevent any kind of hurdles that may come in. It acts to give you the corrective action to take care of the hurdles that appear already. It includes being open to feedback from peers, from subject matter experts, from competition, from market, from anywhere. And that makes sure that your feedback loop ensures that you're on track to achieve your goals. So with this, it's time for another activity. So now, after summing up how we can achieve our goals, I would like to hear from all of you, how will you identify the complexities in your goal? So we are opening into the next breakout room. And the question you need to answer is, how will you identify the complexities in your goal? So I'm stopping the screen share here. And we can go into the next breakout room.
There are 47 people in the platform, so I am again opening it up for 5 teams. Is that okay, Puja ji?
Yes, Arunji, thank you so much.
Should we take one example and give an exact complexity involved there?
So I would say, Rajendra ji, from our experience of achieving goals and what we have discussed now in terms of clarity of goal, complexities that involve, the capabilities we need to build, from that context, when we look at our present goals, so all of us, we can pick up a goal in the breakout room, pick up a goal, and then look at the various complexities and go through how do we identify those complexities.
Great, great. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Very good, very good.
Please move towards the rooms, please. The rooms have been opened.
So welcome back, everyone. Is everyone back from the breakout rooms? Okay. So let's start with room number 1 this time. Please share what was your experience. And what have you got for us?
So I am room number 1. I will just share the document. So as you all can see, very brief discussion. Main thing is, we took the complexities involved in developing a book reading habit. And what happens along the way is everybody has different learning attribute. So is it really the content of the book that is coming in the way, or the way you process information, if you are visual or auditory or kinesthetic? So along those lines, visual people would prefer to have the book animated or explained in a YouTube video. Auditory people would prefer to hear it on audible. And kinesthetic people,
Personal agenda then.
yeah, so they would need to get it through touching or something. So that way, attribute of the learner also can be a complexity that the learner will have to overcome, depending on what attribute they have. Then purpose. So in any human endeavor, like earlier we talked about the why. So is it like a student reading the book at the end of the semester to clear the exam? Or is it somebody reading to face a job interview? So there are different whys involved, and even after the there is that different levels of complexity and competence. So somebody who is looking to do a PhD thesis, he will have a different way of dealing with the same subject matter, same book. And then priority. So how much priority that book is will determine the amount of time allocated. Somebody who's got to read it before next month, either for facing that interview or exam or anything, he will not do other things. Somebody who can do it just for self-development probably might take 6 months to read through the same book. Then engaging the mind. So mind is like a monkey. If you try to tame it, the more it will throw bananas at us. So more it will make us think, oh, acha, ye padhne ke baad I should look at that other matter or that other idea or something like that. So if the content is too hard or too new or too complex, then getting a tutor will help us to ease into the subject and thereby completing the book. That can be a way to engage the mind. Another thing is, to see other good readers, join a reader club or something and see what are their attributes. So anything, any endeavor, when there are like-minded learners, even if it is on Zoom, it becomes a passionate, warm and concentrated exercise. So then let's look at note taking. So if you just read the book and underline, then how much you will underline? Then it will be like those early underlining endeavors where the whole book is underlined. There's no space left. Every line has an underline. Better than that, you start taking notes on the chapter wise on what is read. Then read to feed. So read to feed is a common nowadays heard terminology. You are reading so that you can put it in using your own creation. It could be the creation of your book, creation of your blog. As you can see on the side, I am also writing a book. So now that is hot on my head, whether this can be a part of a chapter I am going to include in my book or not, like that. So if you have further processing goals down the line, you will read with that in mind. And restricting the reading. So in some cases, somebody has the habit of, if the book is taken up, then it must be completed before anything else is taken. So that is like a obsession that can come in the way of other activities. So better to postpone the reading of the book in the first place. I will only read when I can read the whole thing in one go. So some behaviors are like that. So that is all we discussed in this time. Thank you.
Excellent, room number 1. So now let's move to room number 2.
Who is number 2?
Sir.
Yeah,
number 3.
This is Rajendra Sapre. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we had a few points. Actually, we had contribution from many of us. I have noted in this particular mind map. Now we began with Mr. S.N. Mathur actually telling that one of his goals for this year is how to be an excellent presenter. So from that perspective, the main complexity that he saw was that he didn't use the computers much. So he was unaware of PowerPoint skills, then increasingly complex things like audio editing and video editing. He has by now actually enough acquaintance with the Zoom platform, which is the main necessity. Then another part was that although English as a language he was able to read and write, the problem was basically that from the presenting perspective, how to address that challenge. So on that he is working as a parallel assignment. And the third thing is that I mean for many years you are behaving in a certain way. So how to actually conquer the old grooves and actually how to form the new required grooves. That's what the analogy from cognitive science what we learned. He actually mentioned as an important one. And then Suma mentioned about that in the first place, having clarity itself could be a problem or a challenge. How many goals or how to create realistic goals could be a challenge itself, although it is not particularly with respect to the complexity, but it is a necessary thing in the first place. Mr. Naik actually added a few points like do not give up, keep focused. What kind of teamwork will be necessary to solve the particular goal or achieve the goal? How will we track the goals? That is also important, the point he added. Then Dr. Darshana, she mentioned about the, first of all, is that at an unconscious level, we many times try to not have our genuine goals, but actually we adapt from somebody's example and get influenced at a very subtle level by somebody else's goal, and then we realize down the line that we are that is not something which in the first place we wanted to do. So she added this element to the discussion. And then Josna ma'am, she mentioned about meticulous tracking, which is the requirement, and to break the goals and timeline them properly and track them. So I think that's what we discussed in the available time.
Thank you, Rajendra ji. Thank you, room number 2. Now let's move to room number 3.
So we are in room number 3. Let me share my screen. So our group has contributed these points. Number 1, fixed mindset, lacking flexibility of the resources. People don't want to change whatever they have earlier in their mindset. They don't want to learn new things. They have fixed mindset. Then roles and responsibilities not very clear. People don't know. So what is my responsibility? What is my role? They are confused, during the time, and they go on wasting their time in these processes. Non-clarity of SMART goals. Goals are not in the beginning very specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. This we have to sit down and clear it. Non-clarity of objectives, missions, and vision. Then the people are not, when they're not very much clear about the objectives, so they are not very enthusiastic. That is missing. Enthusiasm is missing. Passion is missing. And then they don't have any discipline. Then the people have priority of their personal agenda, then organization interest. So they are more focused towards their own personal things, their own appraisals and bonuses and these things. They are more worried about those things than achieving the organization goals. Then the next thing is procrastination and lassitude. So people are not, they are wasting their time. So lassitude, so Sujata ma'am will explain more in the end. Non-committal, people are not very much committal. Then self-confidence is missing. Limitation of belief in oneself. Self-introspection, this is wrong spelling. Self-introspection, conquering the fear, that is conquering the fear of failure. So then LKK, fear of criticism. Log kya kahenge? Always people is thinking about the other thing. If I do this, what the people will say? Then the another thing is wrong choosing of the model. sometimes when you don't have at the onset, your requirements are not very clear. You can't go for waterfall model. There are different models for different things. Then you have to go for agile model. Then you go step by step, do one thing, then note down another, then goes step by step. Then is coming out of comfort zone. This is another problem. People don't want to come out. Then availability of proper resources. Sometimes, you want to have a product for, say, which needs .NET, and you have all your resources they are trained in Java. So they have to be, they're transformed into then .NET, the technology, new technology. Sometimes they are not available. That is another problem. That takes a lot of time. What activity, processes, structure, and culture, this has also to be transformed and aligned with your goals. Then wrong strategy. Sometimes, we don't follow the strategy. Strategy means which is at the highest level. I tell you a small in 1 minute instance. In Birla, they decided to have a plant for fish packing and exporting. But when the Birla went to the mother, she told, we are all vegetarian people, what you are going to do? So please stop this. Then they stop the process. This sometimes people decide certain things, goals, but that is not aligned to their culture and other things. So then the communication is not very clear. Whatever we think, so we do that thing, but whatever we visualize, that should be done, that thing. Then the data storage. So it is very confusing. People are not very clear. They waste a lot of time in retrieving the data. Some people are enabled for something, some people are not enabled for that. Clarity has to be made right at the proper manuals have to be prepared before the start of the work. Then lack of talent, I have already explained. Lack of monitoring, that is also missing. We must walk through, we must know where to verify, where to walk through, where to inspect, where to validate, and where to audit. All these things have to be proper. There should be manual, it should be clear, and then the clarity of the requirement should be there. Sometimes people are, whole team has not only the project manager, he knows, the specific requirement, and he doesn't share with the team. That is another complexity in most of the organizations they feel. Thank you very much, Puja.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Anil. Thank you so much. And now we move to room number 4.
I represent room number 4. So when we looked at the question, it said, how will you identify the complexities in your goal? We have attacked this question at 3 different levels. One is the complexity level itself. So complexities can occur at internal levels or external levels. So here in an organization, a SWOT also can be broken as the strengths and weaknesses which happen on the internal ground. On a personal level, or for a company or organization, change management is how we can look at complexities. When it looks at the external environment, a pestle analysis works the best, or the opportunities and threats, which again on a personal and a professional level or a work environment, both can work. Pestle is the political, economic, social conditions, or the technology conditions, or the legal, so if there are any compliances, any regulations that have come into force, the goal setting, the goal achievement, it will become a complexity for the goal achievement. Then we had another chain of thought which said, let us look at how to identify the complexities. So that means, how do you come to know that there are complexities on the way to your goal? So consistent reviewing of your goals and your success path will help you identify those complexities. So they can help you foresee what are the complexities that you are going to approach on the way to your goal. And the third thought of chain of thoughts was about complexities with respect to the obstacles. So if you have complexities, it could be in terms of limitations, any form of limitation, financial, resource limitation. Sometimes we become more self-doubting, and that becomes a limiting factor, or any other personal incapabilities or incapacities, which can be a limitation to achieve the goal. We could have uncertainties of the environment, COVID being the biggest example here. Diminished motivation over the time, the goal suddenly, the motivation goes down, and that is also again a huge complexity. Mental blocks, we start defeating ourselves, we start sometimes defeat ourselves, and sometimes the devil in us kind of conquers it, and we always have this mental block whether we will achieve it. We get into another spiral of self doubt. Risk taking may be high, may be low, or we just may be going up and down on risk taking factor when it comes to achieving our goals. That also becomes an obstacle. Sometimes you just have to let go, and sometimes you have to really jump into in a high risk environment. Reprioritizing and deprioritizing. I don't even know whether this word exists, but Sujata ma'am will be able to help us. I just felt sometimes over time we realized that that goal that we had started with may not be the goal at the moment. Sometimes you start reprioritize. Oh, maybe I've changed my goal. So for me, a goal is like a New Year resolution. It changes every year, and every year I figure out that, oh no, this was not my goal. So somewhere that losing the vision of the goal also becomes an obstacle, and there is inconsistency in the efforts to achieve the goal. So we've tackled these questions at 3 different levels, just to understand whether we went right or wrong. We don't know. We just shared. Thank you so much, everybody.
Excellent, room number 4. So now we'll move to room number 5.
Thank you, Ms. Puja. This is Amir here, representing room number 5. We were 6 in the group: Mr. Mahesh, Simran, Suresh, Ramaratnam, Amod Adate, and Punya Oti. So actually, we have Mr. Mahesh suggested to take as a goal of PhD. So to achieve the goal of PhD, so Mr. Suresh suggested 4 points over here as a complexity. First thing is time. So because it is a lengthy process of getting the PhD done, so the time is the most complex factor in achieving that. Because to achieve that PhD, again, we need the person who is doing the PhD should be financially, there should be no constraint. So the constraint of financing from the family, so it is also a complex. The other thing he told about is mental resilience. So how exactly he is capable for that? How exactly he is able to do that particular PhD? And the other thing is perseverance. Then comes to the resources, what resources he has, and what are the colleges, what are the streams he has to check, and where exactly he has to do. And also Mr. Amod also suggested like the constraints about the competition and the resources for studies. All this is been discussed. So finally, the point is, as mentioned by Abdul Kalam, dream is not that you see in the sleep. Dream is that does not allow you to sleep. For all these, irrespective of complexities, irrespective of the resources we have, unless a person takes an action, that doesn't work out. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Over to
Mr. Amir.
Ms. Puja.
Thank you so much. That's really very well put. Excellent, excellent. So a lot of work happened in these 5 rooms. Thank you so much. And a lot of insights came out. So let's come back. So this was the question that we all went into the breakout rooms with. How will you identify the complexities in your goal? And lots of discussion happened. So let me share with you, my dear friends, achievement of goal is all about clarity of goal. Achievement of goal is all about that how clearly you know your why of your goal. It gives the power and direction to your effort. It gives power and direction to finding out those complexities. It gives power and direction to look at your commitment and do all the stuff that will take care for you to achieve the goal. So the start point, my dear friends, of achievement of goals is clarity of goals. So if we are looking at a journey of achieving goals, we start with the first step, the clarity of goals. And on that note, I would like to end today's session. And before I go away, I would like to ask you, are you really clear about your goals? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful participation today. My session ends here, and I would invite any question and answers that you may have.
Puja, this is Sujata Balaji.
Yes.
May I? May I
Yes,
have
yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Between clarity and belief in oneself, which is how do we reprioritize this, as Lakshmi has just asked us a clarity? Which one takes the front seat?
I would have loved to say it is the chicken and egg analogy, but I would like to go, it is always the clarity of your goal. And that gives you the belief and the strength to take it forward, and thus is a cornerstone for self-belief.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
At least in my experience, I feel so.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Can I come, please?
Yes, Anilji.
Yeah, I just want to say, may not be proper question for this forum, especially for smart, these startups. So most of them, they are missing their goals. They have a lot of complexities. Can you a little bit elaborate what remedies or what could be the causes, especially for startups? There are a lot of challenges they have these days.
So Anilji, I'll take from, I think one of the inputs in one of the insights in breakout room was there, which I feel is extremely apt here, is that when startups begin, sometimes they also look at, there is a market for apps, for example, there's a market for apps today and people jump into the bandwagon. If you are a startup, you have to be very clear that why you are in this space, of that, why are you coming up with that idea? What is your goal? Just looking at, just because it says it's a market for today, e-com is a buzzword. So it is important for you to come up with an application or bring your products onto the platform or create something in a startup domain, because startup is also a catchword. So in my experience, what is important is to first understand why you want to do what you are doing. That will give a lot of clarity. And then the complexities that happen if it is a business, what are the various business scenarios, the socio-economic conditions, the conditions for business. So whatever are the matrices, all of them are applicable, but the start point will remain, why I'm into this, why am I starting it? Why is it important for me?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So thank you all for your very, very active participation. And indeed, it's given me a lot of confidence. This is my first program on the platform. So I want to also thank my DMT course mates. You have given me immense confidence and strength to be here. I have my batchmates and group mates who are in this participating in this session today. Thank you so much for your active participation. A lot that I am bringing today on this program, a lot of it, the confidence has come from my co-buddies in this journey. And a very, very big thank you for Arun Subramanian sir for actually introducing this world of online trading. Otherwise, consultants like us, we would be there waiting for the world to open up, waiting for the new normal and to learn the norms of the new normal. But here we are learning day by day, growing day by day as individuals and contributing and creating value for ourselves and for others. Thank you so much for this platform.
But you conducted this session in a brilliant way. I cheers for you.
Thank you so much. And the entire thank you goes to Arun sir.
Yes.
For
Pujaji,
shaping it,
I would be
sculpting
remiss.
it.
I would be remiss if I do not come in here and tell you the truth. It was a mind-blowing session because, there was so
Thank
much
you,
to
sir.
take away, and the way you articulated step by step how to achieve goal in all its simplicity, addressing really what requires to be done. I always say the difference between swimming and drowning is how you use your hands and legs. Both the person who is drowning as well as the swimming beats his hands and legs in water. But a person who is drowning beats it all over the place in panic, without any rhythm, without any rhyme or reason. And one who knows how to swim, he's very calculated in his move. He's relaxed. He knows that he is in a friendly environment when he is in water. The way you navigated the water today is a clear sign that we are in the presence of a person who really understands how to achieve goals. Thank you, Puja ji, for bringing so much of light into our thought about achieving goals. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, grateful
Thank
to you for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And amazing participation. Thank you, everyone on the platform.
Puja, you are rocking. Awesome. You have raised the bar. Really looking up to you now for the next sessions that you take.
Thank you,
Good
Nitika.
job.
It's been like we know all the sessions that we have had together. So everything has contributed to where I'm today. And this was the session I've been start doing. And now you see it in the final form. A lot of work has been done by Anand sir on the session that I created. So,
Yeah, from what we discussed to what it is right now. My God. Seriously.
Lot of
Awesome. Super awesome.
real interaction.
yes.
Okay.
Wish you all the very best, Puja, for
Thank you so much,
many more such astounding presentations. I mean, let me look at the number of participants. Are they all our people? No, okay, fine. Later on then. Okay, but it was the most astounding presentation that I have seen and I have thoroughly enjoyed. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Puja ji, for doubly reinforcing the value of clarity. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Very
Akash.
clearly
Thank
presented
you.
the value of clarity.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Friends, tomorrow we have got one more presenter from Diploma the Master Trainer presenting at 6:15. She is a teacher with over 3 decades of standing. I'd be very honored if you all will be present to encourage her on her journey to the international stage. Thank you. Good night. God bless you. Stay safe.
Good night. Good
Yeah,
night.
and
Good
we have
night.
the link actually shared on the chat box as well for tomorrow's session. So we could
Okay.
register.
Yeah, already on WhatsApp. I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
meet
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank
We'll
you.
meet
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Rajendra ji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your
Rajendra.
comparing.
Thank you, everyone.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Puja ji. Thank you, Rajendra ji.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good
Good night.